Hi guys, it's Tyrone here with another weekly market analysis. Now I've added a few more pairs onto here, but not too many because the spreads are too wide on some of the other cross pairs. Okay, if some of these leads about even 12 pips. I can just about tolerate that at times, but because of this small account, I've ditched the other pairs except for what I've got here. So you can have a look at that, pause, so you know what I've got. Starting with the Aussie CAD. Following the rules, basically looking for a trend market. Now we are in a range on this Aussie CAD on the monthly. We've got a level here, but we've not closed below, so there's no level here to lean on. So we're in a range. This has already told me not a reliable level, and I can see if you put moving average, we would come up and then it would be rolling across here. And we've got a pivot low right here, sort of pivot high here, so it's definitely a range bound market. Different strategy that I won't even go into, but if he's playing the move up, we've got a weekly here and a daily, but because there is no influence with the monthly, I will not be gambling on these levels, not at all. Aussie Swiss, same thing, I'm not even going to gamble. Range bound market, different strategy. Aussie Yen, definitely in an uptrend. We've broken the trend line down. Just looking for daily areas of demand, weekly areas of demand, and monthly areas. So we've got this area, but price has already reacted, so this is now no longer an area. This isn't a monthly area, this is a weekly area. Now I'm going to talk about, I've put an order on here already. I'm actually entered in on trade as well, which I'll go into, which you can place if you like, but I'll talk about this a little bit more in a bit. But this weekly we've had drop, base, drop, close below. This was a level of supply. Then we've had this drop, base, rally, kind of base, rally, and we've closed above this level, continuously closing higher on these weeklies, producing a very nice weekly supply level. Now because we're getting near the end of the month, it's the 22nd at the moment, so we've got about 8 or 9 days, and that's it. If price drops in these 8 or 9 days, I can still take this order down here, which is this weekly level. But what I've done is I've put it at the extreme. There is a chance that if price, in my experience, is going to keep dropping right at that end of the month, there's either going to be a retouch of these bottoms, okay, a retouch, or a test of these areas, and then it will move up the next month, or we're going to continue lower. So for that fact, I don't want to take a gamble with this level. This is another thing I learned on Online Trading Academy. When you've got levels on top of the levels, rally, base rally, and it's in, you don't always want to take the extreme, but in this situation, because it's late in the month, if price was to drop suddenly, I'd rather take the extreme. Okay, so it is the extreme of this weekly level that I'm taking pretty much, because I'm expecting price to try to catch people out on this, stop people out and reverse. Happened to me so many times. I'd rather be cautious in this scenario. I'm expecting though, ideally, to push up and close above before the end of the month. So what I'm looking for this week really is for price to push up, close, which means I've got to pull back for the next week, the next month. So even if we close up here somewhere, be a good sign. Then I can lean on these weekly levels. Or the daily. If the daily pushes up, look, we've got this nice sort of rally base rally. This isn't a level that I would take at the moment. Actually, no, I'll tell you why I wouldn't take this this particular level, because we've not. This is a very strong area of supply. Could be a double top here, so a bigger retracement. What I want to see now is a close above this area of supply. Okay, it's a because this is a nice level. But I would take these kind of levels if I'm much lower. If I'm inside a weekly or inside a monthly, this would be a nice level to take. But look where we are. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks up. We could be on a pause, which could just range here, or we could be on a pullback, a pause for the pullback, or this level may work and price rally. But I'm not going to, with this such a small account, take this level till I've got definite signs that the market wants to push higher. And we're getting near the end of the month, so this to me is like a grey area. Okay, if you was to take it, you wouldn't be wrong, it would be worth a gamble, but not on this small account. Aussie dollar uptrend. We've already reacted. This level, if price comes down here, it's no longer a level. Got no monthly level till we close above, but it is a weekly level. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weekly closes, well 5 closes above, so I've got about a month and a half really to make an entry here on the weekly. If it drops in the right pattern, long as it mirrors the up movement on the way down, we can have a pause here for a couple of weeks and then drop down like a Christmas tree. Fantastic entry then. Or we get a close above. This date is not a daily level because we've not had no close above any of the previous candle wicks. This was a daily level, and if you can see, I had a close here, one close, one candle down. This as this candle opened, look, dropped into the level and reacted. Doesn't mean we've got an entry because it's the risk might have been too wide, too many pips, but you can see the patterns. Let's move on. CAD yen. Now this is a funny one. I drew this in. I've done all this in prior preparation just to keep the videos short and sweet. But definitely in an uptrend, I'm still looking for longs. The rules tell me long. But like I said, we're on the 22nd. I'm just trying to show you a learning thing here, what I look at patterns. We are potentially ranging, but anything can happen. We've got about 8 or 9 days before this candle closes. This could rocket up and close up here. It could rocket down and close below, or we could get a reaction from my levels and then have a rally kind of base and then a rally. The main and most important thing is market is up until it tells me otherwise. We've got to close this level, close above. We had from this low, pretty much the base candle and this candle was 2 candles, but look at it how low from here to here, and then we've got 1, 2 candles down. So you can say from the low 1, 2, because that's quite a stretch. Almost, if this would have dropped, spiked down here, I would have been long, mirror image, but it reacted sooner, and we've had a rally, but we've not had a close above. Okay, so it's not closed above these candles, so we don't know what's going to happen this month. So all I can do is rely on the fact that we are long on the monthly. The momentum is to the upside. Could be a bit of a pause before continuing on a big move up. And these are the areas to get in. These are the opportunity areas, the breather that we can take advantage of. Weekly is up now. We've had one. This is the close above that caused this to be the level, because this was a pivot point here. Okay, drop, rally, drop, base, rally, base, drop. Although we never took the low out, I'm looking at the candle count. Okay, the market is changing. So this would have been the demand level to lean on, and now we've had basically 3 candles up, and we've had 1, 2 down. We've taken this low out. As long as we took this low out, I'm happy for it to continue, as long as we don't take one of the highs out. If it drops down this week, I've got an order here. Now, if we look at the daily, you think the monthly's up, the weekly's up. Same pattern here. Look, one candle. This is fantastic for you guys to learn, to give you indications in the market. I mean, it tells you everything. Doesn't mean you're right all the time, by the way, but statistically it's on your side. It's in your favor. You are the casino. You have the edge. Watch this. This has got 2 green candles up, pause, 2 red candles down. We took it out, already showing supply in control. But look, 1, 2. If I was to short this, forget the trend on the weekly and the monthly. If I was just going to short this, because I might be trading daily 240 and 60, so smaller areas, smaller targets, smaller trends. If I was to go short here, thinking that this is the monthly, like the daily, the big time frame, what would I need up on the daily? I would have had a pause candle here, another pause. I need exactly 2 days strong rally. 2 days. Now what I've had is 1, 2, 3 pause, 4 pause candles, 4. We've had 2 down, 4 in the base. I wouldn't really be looking, even if we had 2 strong candles now, to reach up here to short. That I wouldn't take it, because the momentum, 1, 2, maybe 2 in the base and 2 rally, is to me a mirror image of the timing. It's like the timing image as well. You've got to mirror the timing. That's what I'm talking about near the end of the month and stuff. You've got to be careful with, this is what I'm all talking about. But it is an image that you're looking for, a mirror image. Now what we've got though is because of this basing, a close above. So to me, this is an area of demand. If it was out of sync with the weekly, I would have to wait to it to be really deeper into this monthly area, and then I might get on board a level like this. But I've just straight off the bat bought the market with the spread. I've just literally about half an hour bought the market, and I've got my stop below here, which is about 67 pips. Okay, now if it stops out, because the momentum to the daily is down, there is still potential for another weekly drop into this area. I've got this as my second attempt following the rules. If it gets stopped out again, nothing I can do about it. I'm just hoping that as my count decreases, you guys can see that while you stick with me to the end of the year, how I'm still end up in profit. Okay, and then it's all about, when you know a strategy works, it's about scaling your money. You know, you put more money into an account. You start with $1,000, and you know, or 10 grand, or 100 grand. You know, and then it's the percentage of that amount you started with that you make. If you make 50% in the year, that's only going to be 50 quid on this account. If it was 100 grand account, 50 grand. So it is having the confidence to be able to trade with a 100 grand account like this. So this is what I'm trying to show you slowly, methodically over the next year. So this is definitely an entry, and this is an entry. If it drops all the way down to these pivot lows, because it could, because look at the pattern on the weekly, is a range bound pattern, by the way, and also the monthly, we could drop down to these lows here. But completely different strategies, speak English. It is a completely different approach to trading that I'm not going to do with this account. Okay, I take trades in opportunity areas on them higher time frames, and I do have these small losses throughout the year, and when I get in, pretty much I'm getting out at targets where everyone else is trying to get in to follow a trend, and I've hit my 10 to 1s and 6 to 1s and 8 to 1s. So different strategy altogether, but this one by far is one of the safest ways to trade. If I was using a large account size and that's one way to trade, it would be this. This is by far the best for rule-based, safe way to trade. Anyway, enough chat. I just wanted to show what is exciting about this. Also, think about it now, because this has been down here too long. If price retraces back up here, if I wouldn't short it, what do you think is going to happen? What are the probabilities of it breaking then? So this is a fantastic area. Look at my reward to risk already. Okay, just here I've got about 67 pips for the fact that price should reach up here for 212 pips and potentially break higher, getting in sync with this monthly and the weekly, and then I can start to manage the trade. Right, enough of that. Euro Aussie, going to move a bit quicker now. Uptrend, monthly, we're just waiting for the weekly to get in sync. If we drop down into these areas, now there is a potential, there is a level here, rally base rally, but we've got 2 candles up, one, it really has to drop strongly. But looking at the way this weekly, which is this low here, it's and also the amount of 1, 2, 3, 4 weekly kind of range candles here, 5 actually, this is not looking great. I just wouldn't. I want to wait for the weekly to get in sync. You know, there's no way I want to take this sort of area. It's not. It's too scrappy to choose where the low would be. Okay, so but what I would do, if price drops in this mess and the daily gets on board with a demand level, then I'm going to fucking go long on the daily. Euro CAD uptrend on the monthly. Well, it's not. It was range bound just in this area. We've not really had any close above this high, but we have here. So as soon as this closed, this becomes a demand level. It is now an uptrend. This was the official point here that told me I can look for longs. Now I'm not in this trade. The only reason I got an order here at this extreme was based on this daily level right here. Now bear in mind this is last week's candle here. I'm going to go into this a little bit more because this is very, very subtle, and I'm going to enlarge this so we can go through these candles. First of all, I've got, start from the monthly, I had 2 months up, I've got 1 month down. Now this candle could still drop in the next I don't think it's going to happen, by the way, but if you imagine the next 8 or 9 days for the market closes at the end of the month, which is on the 31st, so I've got about 9 days for price to drop all the way down to here, and it's a valid entry because we've got 1, 2 up, pause. In fact, I could drop 1 and maybe 2 into the next month. This is a valid entry for 2 months if we continue pushing down, you know, red candles closing lower, or I've got to close with a red body and the wick's taken out this low, so it's still in a downward movement. Again, I would analyze on the weekly, but as long as we're moving down, pattern up, pattern down, this would be fine to take potentially into the end of February. Now this area, what we've got here, is a weekly area, and the reason why, I mean, I'm not going to draw a level like this, I'm just going to show you the extreme area, is because we've had this amount of candles. We've had 1, 2 candles up, 1, 2. I should have had it by now in order to go long in this level, and we had to be cancelled because we've had too many candles. So once I have a range of candles and I start to close in a particular direction, then I'm going to start looking for, I'm taking out a level, then I'm going to start going with that level. Now we haven't had a supply level really formed here, but what we did have is a close low from all these wicks. This is the first time below these wicks that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that we had a close. So from pretty much this area here, which is this drop kind of base rally drop, which is somewhere in between the weekly and the daily, but it is no doubt a pause and a close below, and then price rocketed and closed above, because this is some crappy supply level, but we've closed above, creating this area of demand in sync with the monthly. So now that area has been taken out, this is a valid weekly demand. It's somewhere between the weekly and the daily, but the candlesticks tell me we closed above all this mess here, drop base drop. This is now a demand area, and if you want to say, well, we've not really closed above these wicks, you can say it's the extreme of the fucking range of this weekly. Either way, following my rules of trend following of the monthly and the weekly daily, this is a valid level. So I've got now 2 weeks at the moment to drop, unless we pause, and I'll have another 2 weeks, and maybe 3 weeks, maybe even 4, because I can have 2 up, 2 in the base, 2 down. The more candles up, the more I can potentially have in a base. That's what I'm looking for, is the nice pattern. Now this is a weekly. If we close above this week, any day, we could close today. If we close up here, then this becomes a daily level here. I'm going to put an order in, so I'm going to do that this week. I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to make a video. You should get the hang of this by now, and you'll know what I'm doing. So I'm letting you know in advance if we have a close above, or a base maybe, and then the next day a close above, whatever the level is, I'll be putting an order on. Euro Swiss rally base. Now we've not had any close above, no close above the candles, so there is no level except for this. Isn't even a level. These look like levels. If you look rally base rally, yeah, these are not levels that I would trade. There may be on the sync is to the up on the monthly, so I can trade the weekly ones if they were working. You know, level here, we have got a nice level. Look here, price retraced, it worked. No level, no level, no level, not even a level here. Then we got this close here, so this is a weekly level, so this could work. We've had 1 week up close, 1 week down already, so it's no longer a weekly level. Price must be going. So what I'm looking for again is the daily to get in sync. If the daily gets in sync, then I can take this monthly, take this trade up with the monthly. What's happening though, we're reaching an area that was a major support area for many years, and then price broke it. Now I don't give a fuck about it, I'll be honest with you. When I'm trading this way, if price breaks this, what do you think could happen? It could really fucking motor. Okay, if it wants to bounce, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to lose 3 or 4, 5 pound. Yeah, you get my point. Okay, so monthly, I'm following the trend. Monthly is up. We've broken that pattern. It wants to go up. There is no decent level on the monthly, like I said, but it's still up. That's the direction. Weekly, we had a level. It had a reaction. It's pretty much just this candle in the end. Close up. Price dropped immediately into that area. If it comes down here again, it's good chance then we're going to start to roll over. It could be right at the overextension of this. But like I said, if this daily closes above, I'm going to get on board with the Euro Swiss. So the Euro is looking strong at the moment, unless the market is really starting to roll on the big picture this year. So we'll see what happens. Either way, big learning curve. Now we see these basing candles for a while. This is closed above, so this now becomes demand. Price is in an uptrend, although it looks like it could be range bound. To me, still in an uptrend. I'm going to lean on weekly uptrend. Is the weekly in sync? No, I have to wait. But look at the bait. You look, 1, 2 candles down, 1, 2 candles up. This is now an area that if we start to close above and or below, I look at it as a level. All right, because of the amount of time we've been here. So now I'm waiting for price to close high on the weekly. So let's see what happens next week. If we get a close the end of this week up here, be fantastic. Then I can start to look for shorts on the weekly or the daily. Sorry, longs, not shorts, longs. The euro yen close above monthly level. I've got a couple of months to make entry here. 1, 2 this month, next month, maybe even a month after this becomes a pause, providing we break the low. The weekly, we've had 1, 2, 3 up altogether, 1 down, all this low. Prices had a weekly candle here, so there's no more orders here. I've just got to wait for the daily to get in sync. As soon as the daily's in sync, I'm going to get on board with that one. Euro New Zealand, we've had 1, 2 up. I've got potentially to the end of the month to make entry, 9 days. If I don't, then I have to wait for the weekly to get in sync. Or if I'm inside this level, the daily, you know, if it looks like it's going to react sooner, because obviously we're not going to reach these lows necessarily, then I'm going to look on, and it's within the time limit, I'm going to look for the daily levels to form. The euro dollar uptrend level here, order here, self-explanatory. Not got a close yet. When this closes the end of the month, I can put an order all the way down here, you see, if it wants to retrace that far. But my bias is still going to be long. Okay, it keeps me clear-headed and I know exactly what I want to do. I don't need that line there, just to show you uptrend here. So this is an order on. I've got this week to drop if it pauses again. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I really want to make an entry this week. If it wants to have another candle, I've had 1 strong candle up. I'll have 1 pause candle, 1 strong candle down. If it wants to pause twice and drop, I'm not going to take this at all. What I will wait though maybe is if the daily drops into this area and produces some levels and get on board that way. You know, look, do the pound yen. Look, we can quite clearly we'll see we had a close here up level, but we've not had a proper strong close on the monthly. So, but it's still up. The weekly hasn't either, so I need a weekly to be on sync before I can even trade that daily. Same with the pound. We've pushed up here, not had a close yet though, but we have on the weekly 2 up. I've got 2 down, or possibly 3 if we got a pause. No daily level. Look, there's no close. Well, this was a close actually above here, but with the wicks reached so high in 1 day, this is more of a 240 area. This had to make entry down here, which it would have done. In fact, let's just drop it down to 240 for just to see. Right, there's a 240 level. Look, we closed above this high. I needed to reach from this low actually. I mean, we've got 1. No, I wouldn't. This is the base, so it needed to really reach in a 240-minute candle down here to continue. Very horrible, very scrappy. I need to close above on the daily basically. Now, once we close above on the daily, then I can get on board. New Zealand dollar, range bound market. Not even going to be looking at that. Dollar CAD, downtrend. 3 weeks down. I've got 1, 2 pause candles. We've not really closed. We just took this low up. We've not taken this low out, so I'm quite happy. 2 pause candles. We need 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. You know, we can have another pause here. Really, 3 weeks down. We can have 3 weeks pause and 3 weeks up. So I've got potentially 4 weeks to make an entry here if the pattern's right. Of course, we're down already on the weekly. The monthly's down. As soon as I close below on the daily, then I'll get on before, because we don't think it's going to reach this high, you know. But if it does, that's why I keep my bias to the short side. Dollar Swiss. Now this is an interesting one. I've took a short here, and the reason why I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to enlarge this. Not actually, it's not really the best way to do that. What it is, basically, we've got this channel up. It's an uptrend, areas of demand, and I'm going to clean this all up now. Mind you, I don't like these spike outs on this broker you see we got here, but I'm sure if that was to happen, I got stopped out, I'll be on the phone and sort that right out. But that's the only thing that I don't like, but I do like this broker. Because it's been around since the 70s. I was doing some research. Anyway, uptrend, range, and I was looking at the way these levels are all working. You see, we've got respecting this rally-based rally here, and then we've got this after so many candles, we had this basing area, and it just seems to be that it only breaks these areas after so many candles. But if price comes back, this is what I like about this area right here. This is the pattern that I noticed. We had a base, we had one strong candle down, a base of about 4 candles. Now I wouldn't be taking a short up here, okay, for the fact that we had too many candles here. But look what happened. This is a pattern here. Look at like a letter U, bang, and straight away reacted. This is telling me now that we are in a monthly downtrend, okay, just because of that. Okay, it could range. Look at this. It could range. Don't get me wrong. We could hit a double bottom here and continue higher again. But because of this pattern and because of the way the market has moved through here, I'm looking at now the pattern to change, that we could be potentially on a downtrend. Now, when these are the best times to get in trends, by the way, normally on a daily in ranges, and I've got a video on that. But when the monthly is ranging and it breaks, fuck me, there's going to be a big move. Okay, there's going to be some moves, and I want to be on it before. So I'm taking quite a calculated risk that we're now in a downtrend, and I'm looking at this sort of pattern now. We've had a rally, base, and that might drop. You know the pattern I was talking about, the 2 candles up, 2 pause, 2 down. It's kind of like that here. Look, it's like 6 months, a year up, 6 months, a year across, and then 6 months to a year down. So I'm looking at, it could potentially be a very nice trend on the downside. Whether we get on it, manage it on the monthly, the weekly, or the daily, get multiple daily trends, I don't know. But the weekly level is now, we've got 1, 2, so I've got 2 weeks up into this supply level, potentially 3 if we pause, and if we close low on the daily, then I'm just going to get on board with the daily and look for shorts. Again, dollars looking short, euros looking long. Dollar yen, look, just ranging. I'm not even going to talk about this. This is just a complete fucking mess. I don't know. This is more of a pattern. This is more of a rally, flag, and breaks. And I'm not even going to. We're not doing rally. We're not doing patterns. I'm just doing the trend. All right, you get my point. Hope that makes sense. So all my orders are on that are all legit. Plenty of orders. Most of them, 90% are going to get cancelled because they're not going to meet entry. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget to keep giving us a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next week. Take care.